Okay, as I said, tonight all our poets are coming here for the first time. Charlie Dupre's on next. Was introduced to me by another very excellent poet, Amy McAllister, who read with us a couple of months ago. And Charlie started as a drum and bass MC before moving into spoken word. He's in the national file at the Hammer and Tongs Slam, and he's got a SoundCloud page which I urge you to listen to because it's great. The sound is really good and the performances are great. But you don't have to do that now because he's here, so please give a big welcome to Charlie Dupre.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Thanks for getting me down. Right, I'm going to do two reasonably long pieces this evening, one now and one in the second half. To explain what they're about, I'm currently in the process of putting together a show for the Edinburgh Festival, in which I intend to perform rap versions of classical texts. It's still very much a work in progress. I haven't anything like finished it yet, but I'd like to test run these two this evening. So this first one, well, it'll become clear what play it's about, but I believe Patrick has already mentioned its original author. He was a smart kid, one who'd always aim for the middle of the target. A straight-A student at uni, he was laughing, but when he graduated, he suddenly thought, what the fuck is all this barking mad shit that surrounds me? I don't get it. Yeah, I can do a quadratic equation. I can conjugate Latin verbs, but one conundrum I can't crack is just what's going on with this world. It's just so confusing. Everyone's got theories and none of them are proven. I want to know. I just want to know. He thought back through all the literature he'd studied, searching for a buddy to make the water less muddied, somebody who could unfuddle his mind and shed some light upon the anagrams of existence. First he thought, well, God seems like someone who's not short of wisdom, and loads of folk rabbit on about the brilliance God brings them. But I don't know if I'm cool with that. I mean, he's something of an autocrat, and too obsessed with being mysterious, and too quick to test us and cultivate fear in us. I don't really rate God. I think he's insecure. So I need another worldly one with service to procure, with an intimate knowledge of universal law. He started to ponder, and his eyes fell on the floor. That's it. The ones who rebelled. The ones who said, no, God, we're not going to take this anymore. We've had enough of your authoritarian dictatorial ways. We've got other ideas. The ones who were kicked out of heaven and sent to live amidst the lick of a furnace, they're the ones who I need to enlist to my service. Orientis princeps Beelzebub, inferni ardentis monarcha et demagorgon propitamus vos ut appareat et surgat Mephistopheles. Feeling grateful that he'd paid attention during Latin, Faustus waited patiently for scary things to happen. Suddenly the doorbell rasped, his mother's poodle yelped, and on the step a dapper chap said calmly, can I help? I'd like to talk some business, won't you come through to the living room? You see, my friend, the thing is that I'm filled with all this inner gloom, because in terms of what we know us humans are such silly fools, please give me all the wisdom that exists, or I'll be miserable. Basically, I've realised that the Bible's full of gash. So I thought I'd give you a shout. I know this might seem rash, but I thought you demon chaps might have some good philosophies. A fresh approach to all this. Sorry, what was Mephistopheles? Okay, Meph, well, here's the deal. I need you for a servant. Your duties will include the task of showing me the surface of the stratosphere, the workings of this botched up crook of nonsense. Am I clear? You'll be my butler while I hunt for truth amidst the atmosphere. As tempting as this sounds, dear sir, I have a boss already. I've thought of that, dear Topheles. I'm several steps ahead, you see. In return for this fixed term of joy, 1/4 century, your master will receive my soul, to use however hellishly he likes. There was a pause, then Meph said almost kindly, I'm not convinced you've thought about this really all that wisely. Yes, I suppose you learn some things, but then, and here's the rub, you'd have to live in hell forever. It's more than just bad grub. To be honest, bruv, I don't find that too daunting. How bad can it be? Hell's a budget fairy tale. You look perfectly happy to me. Meph's expression tightened. Thinkst thou that I, who tasted the eternal joys of heaven, am not tormented with 10,000 hells in being deprived of everlasting bliss? Okay, mate, I've touched a nerve. I know you and God had a tiff, but what you're saying is this. All that hell amounts to is just not being up there. Well, I've handled that okay in life, so I'm sure when I'm dead I won't care. I think you've missed the point, but I'm reluctant to complain. After all, it is comforting to the wretched to have company in their pain. I'll run this by my master first thing, he's the driving force. Then I'll swing by in the afternoon to sign the deal. In blood, of course. Sure enough, the doorbell rasped once more at 2 p.m. Meth strolled in with an envelope and then produced a feather pen. Faustus scammered through the print, then with a nifty slice, he leaked the lifeblood from his palm with a carefully chosen kitchen knife. Thus Faustus signed away his soul without so much as a rueful word. Then 2HQ Meth took the scroll to be rubber-stamped by Lucifer. Early the next morning, Mephistopheles reported for duty as his servant and his Satan-sent informant. As good as his word, Meth served with dedicated loyalty. Showed Faustus all the unknown things about the air and soil and sea, the makeup of the firmament, solutions to philosophy, which numbers always win in this life's unforgiving lottery. He now could conjure any wonder up from underneath the cellophane. Chunder from asunder, someone shuttered up by death and bane. He rumbled every weather vane and thundered up to mega fame. Suddenly young Faustus found he had a neon-lettered name. He mingled with A-listers and played pranks upon the Pope. He kissed the lips of Helen of Troy, then spat some lyrical dope. So in the throes of ecstasy, indulgence and celebrity, the time went by so quickly, in no time 1/4 century had passed. The butler uttered politely, "Sir, I hate to interrupt, but it's time to settle up. My master's on the phone. You'd better come with us." The tint of daylight darkened, and the good vibes fluttered down. They settled on the ground and shriveled into ugly frowns. He looked around bewildered. "But I'm not ready, mate. There's far more things I want to learn. You ain't taught me how to levitate. And I want to marry Helen and be universal ruler." It was then he noticed Helen had just turned into Medusa. "With all respect, my dearest sir, you have had quite a while. I'm sorry you feel you could have done more, but life is in essence unsatisfying. I did warn you that I thought your terms were verging on the foolish, so don't blame us if now you feel a teensy wee bit stupid." Stupid? I was driven by my intelligence, my curiosity, my desire to know, experience, and get the most out of shitty little existence. I just wanted to understand stuff. You humans never learn. You're simply not supposed to understand stuff, as you say. You should just accept confusion and not try to break away. It's nature's way. If you want peace and happiness, content with being clueless. Just like other animals, no other species do this. You poor deluded humans think the truth will make you glad, but trust me, sir, the truth will only ever make you sad. It's time to say your goodbyes. Your life on Earth is done. Prepare to enter hell, where we can really start the fun. What, you think I'm scared of some fairy tale bullshit? What, like there's going to be some big fiery furnace? Yeah, right, mate. All I had to do to get you guys here was say some stuff in Latin. How bad can it be? Worse than you could possibly imagine. And here's the really awful thing, my disembodied friend. The ghastliness that you'll go through will never, ever end. See, unlike life, the state of death continues to infinity. So perhaps there might just come a time when you'll think, oh, that was a bit silly of me. Thus began his never-ending sentence of sheer torture. He rued the day he had been quite so hasty to know more than was his due. One lesson in particular to Faustus had rung true, that in order to avoid a perpetuity of suffering, we should just accept that what we really know is nothing. Thank you very much.
More applause, please, for that. Superb.
Yeah.
Faustus, did you see Faustus at the Globe this summer? Yeah, I saw it twice, so it was jolly good. And how odd to have Marlowe turning up in the first half of a poetry gig twice, not once but twice. Okay, well, I don't know if Alison's going to be doing anything based on Marlowe, but our next performer is Alison Winch, and I met her at, she had some poems included in the poetry magazine called South Bank Poetry, which is excellent. It's even on sale at Foyles in the South Bank, and I had a couple of poems in that issue, so we met at the launch of that issue. And currently, she's the showcase poet in a very fine magazine called Magma, the current edition of it. So without more ado, Alison Winch, please.
very ashamed because I'm going to read everything on a piece of paper. But I'll try and look at you. Okay, so this first poem's called Eastbourne. We're the youngest guests at the Queen's Hotel, and you're 52. It's the summer solstice, and we're breaking up, except we're making love on the 5th floor in an evening light as yoky as an afternoon. The sexy doom of the split